Perfectionism, fear, overthinking, self-criticism. How do we get through these things as creatives, as people who want to be putting out good things into the world, but we have these voices in our head that are blocking us every day? There's a really powerful tool in this book that I'm reading right now called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, and it's a process she refers to as the morning pages. She writes how a lasting creative awakening requires the consistent use of both the artist state and the morning pages. In case you missed it, my last video was about the artist state. So what the morning pages is it's a 3-page stream of consciousness writing. You just write for 3 pages straight, whatever comes to your mind. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. It doesn't have to have any specific type of flow to it. It doesn't even have to make sense to anyone other than you who's just writing it. You just write. It's about what's in your mind out onto the page. And when you're writing these, you're writing it not for an audience, and you're not writing it for the intention or the thought that anyone's ever going to read it. It's just for you to get your thoughts out onto the page. The author, Julia Cameron, even recommends that when you're doing these, don't even reread it yourself. Just write them, put it into an envelope, put it away. Don't even look at it at first. I mean, you can always go back later, of course, and read them. So when you wake up in the morning, whatever you're worried about, whatever your fears are, whatever is stressing you out, whatever doubts you have, whatever thoughts are going around in your mind, just get them out onto a paper. And it doesn't matter what mood you're in. You don't have to be in a good mood. You can be in a horrible mood. Just write down however you're feeling in that moment, exactly what you're feeling and thinking. And by doing this, we get it out so that we can get to the other side of it. She writes how the pages are a pathway to a strong and clear sense of self, a trail that we follow into our own interior. They lead us out of despair and into undreamed of solutions. And she writes how anyone who faithfully writes morning pages will be led to a connection with the source of wisdom within. It's such a powerful idea. When I was first reading this book, I thought, wow, that's amazing. I need to be doing that every single morning, 3 pages. But what my experience in writing these morning pages has been, it's 1 week. I've been doing them every morning. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm such an overthinker that it's been such a struggle for me. Going into this, I was thinking, oh, morning pages. Does that mean a big book, a small book, a spiral bound, a moleskin journal, a hardcover, or should I just write it on pages? And I'm thinking, maybe I should just do a cheap spiral bound notebook so that way there's no pressure. I don't have to make it look pretty. It's just messy, just my thoughts, getting it out there. I can rip it up if I want to. I can throw it away. It doesn't have to be something that I keep around or look back on. And so I started writing the pages, and what I found was that I wasn't enjoying the process, and I found it annoying to write on like such a cheap paper because I'm used to writing on moleskin notebooks. So these are all my moleskin. This isn't even all of them. I have some more. So I purchased a brand new moleskin notebook. It's actually right here. So this is my morning pages notebook, and I just wanted to start from scratch. I threw away that old spiral bound. I stopped using the spiral bound notebook. Started using this because I find that moleskin, I love the size. I love how it feels. The paper quality is so nice. The spacing of the lines, the type of pen that I'm using. I bought this Sharpie gel pen. I didn't know that Sharpie made gel pens, but it writes so smoothly on the page, and it's a continuous flowing pen with the ink is so nice. And yeah, I just love it. So I recommend getting tools that make you happy and make the experience more enjoyable, because if it's not a good experience, you're not going to want to do it even more. I am already finding so much resistance in myself to doing these morning pages. I overthink everything. I'm trying to make it perfect. And that's exactly what we're trying to push through in doing these morning pages. And so I'm dealing with this resistance right now. It's the week 1, and honestly, it's been tough because I find myself starting out and my handwriting is all nice and neat and I'm kind of writing incomplete sentences, and then I look out the window and think about something and then write it down. But that's not what this is supposed to be about. It's just getting all of our thoughts onto the page. It can be messy, things can be misspelled. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like you're writing a novel. It's been a struggle because I find myself overthinking it way too much when you're really supposed to just be letting yourself go and freely writing and letting your hand go across the page without thinking too much about it. But I, as I said, overthink everything. So that's something I've been working through, is letting go of that, my perfectionism and overthinking. The other morning as I was writing, this really, really dark thought came up into my mind. So it's an exercise to think, wow, what are these demons in our minds? And it's good to let them go so that they don't stay in there and fester and ruin our mind. So I'm still learning. It's definitely a process. I'm 1 week in, so I don't have any advice for how to do morning pages successfully. I'm literally still learning myself, but I just wanted to share this practice and I wanted to share my experience with it because it is a really good concept. It's a really good tool. If you're an overthinker, if you're a perfectionist, if you are a procrastinator, it's just about forcing yourself to do it. One thing that really stuck with me is what Julia Cameron said was, it's not about what mood we're in, and sometimes our best work can actually come out of these morning pages, and it can lead to inspiration. The author Elizabeth Gilbert of Eat, Pray, Love, I was watching an interview, and she said she actually wrote Eat, Pray, Love because of morning pages. She started doing The Artist's Way, and she realized she really wanted to learn Italian. It kept coming up in her morning pages, and she was like, this is just something, you kind of see patterns in your thinking, and you might find yourself doing these morning pages for months, for years. The same thing comes up over and over and over again. Why does this keep coming up? And then you actually realize, maybe I should do something about this. And our same old complaints. What do we complain about day after day? Whatever problem is reoccurring in your life, if you're complaining about it every day and you're writing this down every day, maybe you'll actually be inspired to do something to change it. So just a thought. And it's really cool to think of what creativity can come from this. So yeah, let me know, comment below. Have you ever done morning pages? What's your experience like with it? Will you start doing it? Hopefully we can just go on this journey together and become better selves and get past these things that are blocking us. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos every time I post. I post new videos every Monday and Friday, and I'll see you in my next video.